At exactly 8:21 a.m. in Canary Wharf, London, something strange happened. The entire office went quiet. Not because of a meeting, not because of an announcement, but because a cleaner walked in. And for some reason, all eyes followed him. Daniel Brooks looked tired, his shirt slightly wrinkled, his hands rough from work. But there was something about him that didn't fit, something people couldn't explain. And before anyone could figure it out, a voice broke the silence. "You're late again!" It was Richard Cole, the boss, already walking toward him with anger written all over his face. And just like that, the tension in the room snapped, because everyone knew what was coming next. "Do you enjoy embarrassing yourself?" Richard said loudly, making sure people could hear, "or do you just not care?" A few people chuckled, others looked away, but no one stepped in. And Daniel? He didn't argue, didn't explain, didn't even defend himself. He just stood there, quiet, almost too calm. And that's what made it uncomfortable, because it didn't feel normal. It felt like he knew something they didn't. But Richard didn't notice, or maybe he didn't care, because he kept going. Day after day, pushing harder, insulting him in front of everyone, giving him the worst tasks, treating him like he was nothing. And still, Daniel stayed silent, until one small moment changed everything. A young analyst named Ethan Clark walked up to him during lunch and said softly, "You don't deserve this." And for a second, Daniel looked at him in a way no one had seen before, like he was remembering something important. And that moment, it seemed small, but it wasn't, because the very next morning, everything changed. Just as Richard started shouting again, "This is your final warning!" the doors opened, and a group of senior executives walked in without notice, their presence instantly freezing the room. And then, one of them stopped, stared at Daniel, and said quietly, "Sir?" And just like that, the entire office went silent, confused, tense, because nothing about this made sense. Richard laughed nervously. "Sir, that's just the cleaner." "Stop," the man said sharply, his eyes still on Daniel. "Do you even know who he is?" And suddenly, the air felt heavy, because Daniel slowly stood up, wiped his hands, and for the first time looked everyone in the eye. And when he spoke, his voice was calm but powerful. "I came back to see something," he said, "to see how people are treated when no one important is watching." And that's when it hit them, all at once. Daniel wasn't just a cleaner. He was the man who built the company, the founder, the one they never expected. And within minutes, everything flipped. Richard was escorted out, his voice shaking as he tried to explain. The same man who once humiliated others, now begging not to be humiliated. And just when it seemed like it was over, Daniel turned to Ethan, the only one who showed kindness, and said, "You saw me when I had nothing. That matters." Ethan stood frozen. "Starting today, you work with me." But then, Daniel did something no one expected. He looked around the office one last time, at the same people who laughed, who stayed silent, who did nothing. And he said quietly, "This place doesn't deserve to continue." And just like that, the entire branch was shut down. People lost their jobs. Everything changed. And only one person walked away with a future, Ethan, standing beside the man everyone once ignored. And now, here's the real question. If you saw someone like Daniel today, would you treat him with respect? Or wait until it's too late? Like, share, and subscribe for more touching stories coming your way every day.